Hey, I just moved here like 3 years ago, and I'm here helping my daughter. She's in the army.
You know where Texas Roadhouse is?
Yeah, right
It's
over.
like two restaurants down from Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come visit
It's good for like wings and beer, and we have like good
you.
salads and burgers and stuff.
Where is this at?
Isn't Killeen? It's like 45 minutes from Austin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used to be
Cool,
in the
cool.
military, so I understand the
Yeah,
military life fairly. That's why I live in Killeen.
yeah. Nice, nice. What'd you do in the military?
You said, what did I do?
Hmm.
Well,
What, what,
I was an
what were
infantryman.
you? Infantry? Nice, nice.
I got
Well,
made fun
very
of
cool.
to be a
Made
cook. They're
fun
like,
of? Why did you get made fun of again? I'm sorry.
because you know the infantry, they're like, oh, you're gonna go be a
Oh.
cook. I was like, not in the military. It doesn't count.
That's funny. All right, I think we'll get started. I hope everybody had a great weekend this weekend. It was gorgeous, wasn't it? It was beautiful in Austin for sure. Um, so let's see. Let me get the sharing. There we go. What's growing on today? All right, so we got our little newsletter. So let's see. All right, here is some important dates. You got November the 6th. That is a in-service for us instructors. So you have the day off. Anytime we have an in-service, you have a day off. So on November 6th, you're going to have a day off. Then we have November 26th and 27th. That is Thanksgiving. And then we have Christmas. Someone was asking about Christmas break, I think last week, and here is the dates for the Christmas break. And we will resume back, it looks like, on the 11th.
That's
And
awesome.
thank goodness 2020 will be complete because I'm so tired of 2020.
Chef, do you know when we'll get the schedule for 2021? Because I didn't see it anywhere
Um,
on the website.
I will find out. I don't have it just quite yet because I don't even see what, or I don't know what holidays I have next year either. So I will I'll shoot you know what, when um I'll shoot an email to my boss and hopefully she'll respond before the end of the class.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Do you know when the end date for this class is? So like the theoretical start of our labs.
Let's see. So today is this is week 2. Hold on. Yeah, let me just look at a calendar real quick. So this is week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. Oh, so November the 5th is your last day.
So November, and then did they say anything about how we're going to go into the labs due to COVID, or is it going to just be like a break in between until they figure it out?
No, well, it's kind of up to you in a way of because we do have hybrid classes. So the hybrid classes, uh, excuse me, I apologize. The hybrid classes are like Monday you're online, you're like the chef goes over all the food, what y'all are going to be cooking for the whole week, and kind of going over and talking about it. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, you would be cooking at the school. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, you would be cooking from home. But cooking, I guess, at home with the Zoom on, so the chef can help you as well. So that is the hybrid. As of right now, I don't think we're doing 100% online. I mean, 100% on ground. We're either doing 100% online or the hybrid classes as of right now. Now, what is going to happen is they're going to, like Chef Robin is going to be sending you emails throughout this block saying, hey, what is your feeling? What would you like to do next block? And would you want to do a hybrid? Would you want to do 100% online? What would you like to do? And if you don't respond, she's gonna, if no one responds, you get put into online, 100% online. If you respond and say, hey, I wanna do hybrid, you'll get put into hybrid or whatever else. But that's kind of how it goes. She will ask you, and you have the choice of saying online or hybrid.
Okay, and so if we did decide to go online or even hybrid, since that would still be at home too, I know they said they were going to send us the like a knife set and all of that, but as far as like the foods and stuff that we cook, are we going to have to go pick that stuff up from y'all and then come back?
If you're in Austin, I think they will. They give you the food. They have a scheduled time for you to come to the school. Or I'm sorry, if you're 100% online, you will. And if you're in Austin, you can pick up the food, I believe. But if you're out of town, I think what they do is they give you a stipend. There's some sort of stipend that you use to buy the food.
Okay.
Because at the very beginning we were shipping the food, but shipping the products, but it was just it turned into a cluster. It was too bad of a issue just because of all the people not getting the product and it going bad and all sorts of issues. So that's kind of how then we just give stipends out.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And if you have any other questions, something like what would happen, save them for this morning when Chef Robin gets on, and she can answer some of those questions maybe that I do not have the answers to.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, cool. So questions on schedule, everybody good on that? Additional hybrid class, let's see what this says. Remember to stay safe. The one thing that I will tell you for sure is there is like zero tolerance when it comes to if you are in the hybrid class, if you come in late, they're not going to, you've got to be on time, you've got to be there because the class goes in, and the chef instructor's got to check temperature, it's got to do a few other things. So, just make sure you're on time, all of that. You practice social distancing because no matter what, if someone gets sick in your class, let's say if you are doing a hybrid, the whole class basically has to quarantine if someone gets sick. So then the class shuts down and it'll be 100% online until 2 weeks later because you've got to have a 2-week quarantine. Excuse me. Let's see, here we go. Housing issues. If you have any housing issues, you can deal with this. Utility, rent, other financial assistance. Austin helps out. Mental health issues. Guys, do not, if you need help, don't ever think this is a taboo subject or anything. Mental health is a big deal, especially nowadays with COVID. Everybody kind of being stuck at home and isolated, and also abuse. If there's any physical or mental or any of abuse going on, please be aware there is help. Also, don't ever hesitate to reach out to anybody. Call me if you need any help. Just anything. Don't think you're alone out there, because you're not. Everybody needs help sometimes, so don't ever be afraid to ask for it. All right, especially when it comes to mental health or just especially now. I read so much there's so much domestic abuse right now going on, just because people are stuck at home, all of that. So if you are having problems, do not stay in there. Go find a safe place. All of that good stuff. So please be safe. If you need anything religious wise support, there you go. It's financial aid. So here are some, so I would say take a picture of this, or just so you have, or write these people's names down, or these emails, because if you have any questions, I know y'all are going to have probably questions about financial aid, or any of your account problems or any of that sort of stuff. This information is very critical for you to help you out. If you're having any sort of email issues, please use the Zendesk right here, this phone number. They can change your password, they can log you back in if you're locked out, any of that sort of stuff. Same thing.
Can you go back to that so I can screenshot it really fast?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And this right here, this little, this has a lot of questions. Or if you have any questions, there's some question and answer section as well. World Health Organization, flu. Just please be careful, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask. If you need to create any disinfectant with bleach, there you go. It's a half a cup of bleach to 1 gallon of water. Standards, we've talked about these people right here. Ann, Derek, and Jamal, or Jamail. These two people can help you out finding a job. They're career services. So if you need to find a job, or if you want a little extra side gig, like UT is playing right now, University of Texas. If you want to, I know we help with the food, they always call for student volunteers for the food service at the football games and all of that. So I know that, if you need a job, they can help you out. Let's see, here's some featured employers right here. If you need a job, And this is all around the world. If you're in Killeen and you need a job, you call them up, they'll help you out. We've got people in Spain, we've got people in France, wherever you need a job, we can try to help you out. That's part of your tuition, guys, is the career services. Use them up, use them and abuse them. People call the school up and say, hey, we need a job. We're looking for people to hire, put it out there. So all these people are hiring. They do have vacancies. Odd Duck, you name it. Crema Bakery, and that's close to my house area. That's real close to my house. So all of those things, so feel free to apply. Let's see, dry storage at our school. If you want to work at our school, I lost connection. You there? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh,
It's just
all right. I said lost connection, but let me see. Anyway, so let me get back to that. Hold on. Let me stop sharing. Sorry, I lost connection there for a second. It said.
while you're doing that, you said that the career services, they'll help you find a job and all of that. But when you were talking about the UT games, you said volunteer. So are there volunteer gigs and are there jobs that we're getting hired for, or both?
Yeah, sorry. If I said volunteer, I meant to say you get hired. You get paid for the UT football games. But yes, there are things for volunteering, but right now until, and it was like for like ACL, we used to volunteer for that, and Food and Wine Festival, certain festivals, but as of right now, nothing is, they're not doing anything, but there will be volunteer work. But I meant to say, if you want to get hired, they'll hire you. Sorry. My bad.
No worries.
Let me share this. Let's see. So the storeroom is hiring. If you want to work at the school, I think the only issue is I think if you're a military or you're using military money, I don't know if that works out. I don't, there was some sort of issue at one point for federal money and work study, because it's more of a work study program. But still, if you want to try to get in there, it's a great place to work, and then just for fun, there you go. All right, that's good fun. The quote of the week: live it, breathe it, love it, be one with it. And let's see. Here's Chef Pablo. He was this is country biscuits. Chef Pablo has his country biscuit recipe. If you would like it, I will put it up there, right there. And then the trivia. All right, you can put your answer in the chat line. So corn sweeteners are used in juices, soft drinks, How many cans of soft drink can be sweetened using a bushel? And that's about 56 pounds of corn. Let's see. I've got, let's see, what is number 4? 400, 100, 400, 100, 300, 200, 200. 200, 300, all right. 400. Wow. It's a lot, huh? Or is that a lot? Guess it really depends.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like a lot to me.
Yeah.
That is a
So how
lot.
did they figure that out? I guess 300, but that was a guess.
And let's see. There is over 1,500 different uses for the product. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I had never known that.
I'm sure there's some type of formula. It's math.
There's got to
you know,
be.
so-
There's
Yeah.
got to be a formula. I'll see if I can find out. That's
Yeah, or
interesting.
Well, if you figure
maybe you
you
could
turn it
send it
into
to our emails and
cornstarch,
we could figure it out too. Because I just literally guessed.
What-
I should have put 400.
What did who was talking? Who said that?
said if you figure it out, you turn it into cornstarch, and then you go by
Yeah.
volume.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for at least for sending your job aids. If you have not sent your job aid to me, you need to please send it. I will give you, the rest of the day to get it sent in. If it's not sent in by today, it's going to be 5 points off every day after.
Chef,
Okay.
I was unsure of where to send it. I know you said the Google Drive for instructors, but
Oh.
I couldn't find it. I wasn't sure
Oh,
where
you
that
can
was.
just share. You can share it with me, email it to me, whatever.
Okay, I thought there was a specific place it was supposed to go.
Oh,
so-
no. I was saying you can just share it through your Google Drive, just share it through Google with me or whatever else. So, I mean, it's just send it to me however
Okay.
you want. Cool. And the ones that I have seen are great. Thank you. I love it. I appreciate you sending that to me. Let me get the PowerPoint set up. And guys, I was having YouTube was when I was trying to put the videos in. Yeah, I think Friday. I was having a hard time with YouTube, so eventually it finally let me put it in on Saturday. But for some reason, Friday it wasn't. It was kicking me off. And not downloading it completely. So my apologies for taking a little bit longer on putting it up. Let me share my screen. All right, so we're going to kind of review just quickly on what we talked about on Friday, or a little bit of what we talked about in talking about Escoffier and the brigade system. And Escoffier system kind of works when it comes to the brigade system. What we're really wanting you to understand is that just the hierarchy of the brigade system, from going from top to bottom. Basically, the executive chef, the person that was in charge, they have the tallest hat, and kind of going down from there. But he also did kind of set up kind of systems where you have you know, different people are different. You have the garde manger section, you have the different kind of sections, and kind of separated the individuals to be able to do their job. But he was kind of the one that developed the order, if you will, or the hierarchy when it comes to a professional kitchen. And he kind of he helped create a lot of this kind of the Bible when it comes to, or the Bible of cooking, if you will, with a lot of the French terminology and all the, I guess, French terminology. And then he brought in the military with the brigade system portion of it. But he is kind of the father figure of the culinary industry. I mean, even, you know, all culinary schools, honestly, talk about how great Escoffier was. So, you know, and he was the one that just brought this career into into what it is today. You know, here's like a brigade. I mean, this is a system, a huge cooks, a lot of cooks, old school. I mean, look how you know, you had a big crew when you were running it, and you kind of see that probably doesn't look like there's any females one bit in there. It looks like all males. So, you know, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. That's kind of what it was back in the days. Sorry, my dog's going to bark in a storm this morning. Let's see. Morale. And let's talk about, you know, the morale in a kitchen, first of all. What should the morale be? What should the atmosphere of a kitchen? You know, the atmosphere usually is very busy, right? Everybody's really kind of running around, you know, doing a lot of stuff. And the morale should be good, right? It shouldn't be like a very depressing, right? It shouldn't. What should employee morale be? Or what is employee morale? First of all, anybody? What am I talking about?
Employee morale is honestly the climate and culture of the kitchen. You know,
Yeah.
it should be something that's fun. You know, you be enjoying it. You know, coming to work, and if you aren't, then we have a problem.
Yeah. No, in the morale, I mean, some people just have a piss poor, you know, attitude, whatever else, and that morale, and that creates kind of an issue if someone has a piss poor attitude or whatever else, or, you know, bad morale, bad, you know, it's kind of everybody's on edge, whatever else. But you need a good atmosphere. I would say a good social atmosphere of just when it comes to no one's like trying to belittle people, no one's degrading people. You know, everybody's working for one main reason, right? And that is to pump out as good of a food as possible, right? You know, you want to bring out, give out good food. You want to produce good food, and you want and with that, if to do that, you need to have good morale, good atmosphere in the kitchen. Because has anybody ever cooked angry before? Has anybody ever cooked mad, angry? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the outcome? Is the food maybe not as good when you cook mad, when you cook angry. Maybe it doesn't look as well. Maybe you don't plate it up as well. All of those things, it affects the bottom, what I call the bottom line. And the bottom line is your food, right? Because that's what people are coming to eat, right? Coming to your facility for. And if you cook mad, if you cook angry, if you cook pissed off, whatever it is, or cook sad, or you name it, you can kind of tell because the food is just not in the plating is not as good, all of that sort of stuff. You're a little more aggressive with the cooking. You're maybe a little more, aggressive with the spoon, slapping the spoon down, whatever else. But it's one of those things you don't, the quality doesn't come out as well. So morale is very important for the outcome. Plus, it's really important for your staff as well. Who's been around a bad morale or bad people, a place where it's just kind of like, it just sucks every bit of your energy away from you. I mean, it's just when people are pissed off, it just kind of, it's a horrible place to work. So you've got to be very careful with that. But morale when it comes to your staff, and you need to manage the morale a little bit. And if it's getting bad, you need to get better. And we'll talk about how to deal with that. But it sounds like here in morale. Let's see, brigade system. Military, let's see. Okay, now let's talk about first of all, when you're chef or when someone's talking to you, you want to just a lot of times it's yes chef, right? Everything is yes chef, no chef, yes chef. You always keep it calm, keep everything going of yes chef. That's kind of how you respond to any of that sort of stuff when it comes to the chef, when you're addressing the chef or whatever else. A lot of times when you're in the kitchen, guys, you can say chef, you can, no matter what, I'll answer to chef. If you say yes chef, or if you say hey chef or whatever else, you usually try to keep it professional. You usually don't say hey Cliff. You usually say hey chef or whatever else. Or say hey Chef Cliff or what have you. But usually keep it professional. Let's see. Now, let's talk about chefs in general, just real quick. Let's talk about that white jacket. Let's talk, and I haven't talked about jackets yet. Why is the jacket so? Why do we have chef jackets like this? Anybody know why? Like this guy in the chef jacket. It's a double-breasted chef jacket. Why do we have a double-breasted chef jacket? Does anybody know why? You got one here and like one here. So you have a double-breasted. Anybody know why?
Male and female?
No, it's for protection.
Prevent
It's for
spills and things like that from burning to your skin.
Yeah.
You have an extra layer of protection there.
That is correct. It's just for protection, and it doesn't matter if guy or girl. It doesn't matter. You can do it either way, left or right. It doesn't matter to me. I prefer doing it this way because I'm left-handed. It's easier for me to button it than it's the other way. But it's all for protection. The chef's jackets. Why do we have long arms like this? It's our long area. So because your forearm is the most sensitive, and when you're grilling, this helps protect your arm as well. And that's why it's open right here, is so where this helps protect your wrist compared to where, you've got your arm right there, you can move around and all of that, but it's all for protection. And that's why chef jackets are double-breasted like that. It's 100% protection. But anyway, I since this is your very beginning class, they usually go over the chef jacket and talk about that and explain why it's so long. But since you're not in a actual cooking class right now, I decided to make sure y'all knew that. Let's see, but and when I and the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because pride. I want you to be proud in your uniform. I want you to be proud. In a dirty uniform is disgusting. I never want to see someone like wiping their hands on their jackets or saying, oh, well, if I get dirty, I can flip my jacket across or whatever else. A dirty chef is not good to me. A dirty chef makes me feel like that person is not clean, is not cleanliness, so you need to have pride in your uniform, pride in you, especially when it comes to your uniform, because that's all you have. This is your uniform. This is what you wear. You gotta be proud of it and be proud of what you're wearing and be proud of the industry you're in, and make sure that you look the part as well, and it not look like because who wants to have a chef cooking your food that it looks like a pig pen, that looks dirty, that's got crap all over their shoes, or and that's the one thing is I try every day, because that's the one thing because we wear shoes and they in the kitchen, and they get and they're usually black leather shoes and or black shoes, and crap gets stuck on it. It looks ugly. I like to wipe it down. I want you to have pride in who you are. I don't want to see a bunch of flour stuck to your shoe for days and days and days. That's a cross-contamination hazard. What was on your shoe is now could get somewhere else. So have pride in your uniform, in what you wear, and be proud to wear it, for sure. Respect, when it comes to respect in the kitchen, when you're talking to the chef, it's usually yes chef, no chef, heard chef, anything, just what I call recall. We want to hear recall, like yes chef. I'll say, hey, I need you to do this, and you'll say yes chef. The reason why is I just need to make sure that you heard it, because a lot of the times in a kitchen it's loud, it's a lot of banging, a lot of noise, and the only way I can tell that you heard me is by recall, by saying yes chef, I will firing 5 New York strips or whatever it is, repeating what I just said to you, or even just saying yes chef, just respect to your chef, and especially when you're the chef and you're running the facility, just respect for you in general. Common goals every day. The chef, every day in the kitchen is, well, first of all, common goal. Everybody's got a common goal. What is the common goal in a kitchen? Or what should be the common goal?
To execute great tasting food in a timely manner with precise.
Amen. Exactly. You got it. You hit it right on the head. Exactly. Executing food, timely, bringing out food, because what I need you to understand is you can teach anybody how to cook, but it is very difficult what y'all are doing, and that is cooking professionally and being timed. Basically, you're timed in a way of food, cooking food. You have a certain amount of time to get the food done, and that's cooking professionally, right? Your time, you have a certain amount of time to get the food done. That's cooking professionally. That's difficult. That's tough. And the goal, getting 50 people to be able to, or 5 or 6 or a whole line to produce one dish. So I've got I've got 5 people, maybe 3 people, 3 to 5 people cooking that one dish for this customer. I got one person cooking the vegetables. I got one person cooking the meat for the grill, or for the dish. So for one dish, I've got someone cooking the vegetables. I got one person making the starches. I have one person making the sauces for the saucier. I got one person doing the grilling. So for one dish, I have like 5 or 6 people cooking to make one plate, right? So our common goal is to get the food on the plate in a timely manner, all together, hot, warm, ready to go, and so I can serve it to my customers, right? So it is I would call it a dance. It's a huge dance. Everybody's working together to make it all work. And if someone is off step, if someone's off beat, or if someone's not going, then what's going to happen? The cog is going to break, and then all hell's going to break loose. So making sure that the common goal is to produce good food, or what I would say is whatever your mission statement is. But have that respect. Listen. Always say yes, chef. No, chef. Always be responsive. The one thing I always hate in the kitchen is crickets. What I call crickets is when I hear nothing. When I hear nothing, that frustrates me, because I can't tell if they didn't hear me, because in the kitchen you got a lot of noise. You got vent hoods going, you have dishes clanking around, you have ovens opening, closing, just lots of noise. And if I don't hear a recall, or someone saying, if I say fire, I don't know, New York strip medium rare, and if I hear nothing back, that means that you didn't hear it. I need to make sure that you heard that, and you've got to repeat it back to me. When you are a chef, there's a lot of decision making when it comes to it, to your job in general, and making sure you can be able to make decisions properly, and be able to make decisions when it is needed, right? That you're there to be able to make those decisions, and some of these decisions are on the fly. Some of them are done, very well thought out decisions, but there's a lot of decision making when it comes to just running a restaurant and being a manager and being an executive chef. 7 steps of decision making for success. Who wants to read the first? Who wants to read all of these 7 for me? And give me a second to breathe.
Identify the problem, gather relevant information, identify alternative solutions, assess the evidence, choose from alternatives, take action, and then that last one I can't see, Chef.
Review the decision.
Yes, sir. Yes, Chef.
Oh,
I can't see
sorry.
that one.
Yeah, review the decisions. All right. So number 1, identify. Thank you. I appreciate it. It gave me a second to breathe. All right. Identify the problem. Okay. Let someone come up with a problem. What's the problem?
Somebody burnt the food.
Mashed potato.
All right. So someone burnt the sauce. All right. Identify the problem. What should we? So the problem is someone burnt the sauce. All right. We need to identify it. We need to figure it out. What's going on? We need to step by step define. Basically, we need to define the problem, right? Plain and simple. Figure out what the root of the problem is, and the cause of the disruption or cause of the whatever it is. Figure out the problem. We need to identifying the problem. Here are 7 steps to identify the problem. Who wants to read number 1? Did I say 7? I meant to say 5.
I can read.
Insert the initial problem statement in the problem statement box.
Can you can go, keep on going.
Sure. Brainstorm possible root cause categories. 3, brainstorm potential root causes in each category. Analyze the potential root causes to clarify or define the real problem or problems. And finally, develop consensus around the root problem or problems.
All right. So, I mean, this is basically little steps. If you need to figure out what the problem is, you need to figure out what the problem is, right? And once you to identify the problem, if you can't identify the problem, these are steps to help you identify it, right? Develop the to try to figure out how to resolve the problem, right? You need to know what the problem is before you can fix the problem, basically is what they're saying. Does that make sense? Okay, so gather relevant information, right? We need to be able to figure out what kind of information we need to do to figure out this problem, right? If we have a problem, we need to basically what information is needed to figure out the relevant. What is some information that we need to figure out what is relevant, and that is self assessment. Try to figure it out. Other information, external information by online, by books, by other people, other sources, any of that sort of stuff. You want to just gather up as much information as possible to figure out what that problem was. Now, identifying who wants to read step number 3? Or could someone do that for me?
Identify the alternatives.
Okay, tell me about the alternatives. You can finish reading this one little section for me.
As you collect
If you don't-
information, you will probably identify several possible paths of action or alternatives. You can also use your imagination and additional information to construct new alternatives. In this step, you will list all possible and desirable alternatives. So it's like the different types of solutions you could use.
Exactly. All right. Identifying. All right. So do you want to keep? Can you keep going, or are you okay with keeping going on this step 3? You were still finishing up step 3.
Consider all your options before committing to any one of them. You should make a checklist to compare solutions. Points on the checklist might include: how well will this solve the problem? Will it also stop similar problems from occurring in the future? How much will it cost? How does it affect other departments? Does it fit with the company philosophy? Is it legal? Is it ethical?
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. So these are a lot of the questions, and you've got to ask yourself all of these questions because, I mean, honestly, you don't want to get in trouble for any unethical decision making or unethical things. So you really need to look at it and in identify what it is. How much will it cost? Is it going to cost some money? Is it something that legal, or ethical, or, whatever it is. And the question, the biggest question I would always ask is that very first question is right here. Will it solve the problem? Will it really solve the problem if I fix it? So there we go. Will someone read step number 4?
Step 4, weigh the evidence. And draw on your information and emotions to imagine what it would be like if you carried out each of the alternatives to the end. Evaluate whether the need identified in step 1 would be met or resolved through the use of each alternative. As you go through this difficult internal process, you'll begin to favor certain alternatives, those that seem to have a higher potential for reaching your goal. Finally, place the alternatives in a priority order based upon your own value system.
There you go. All right, and I think we got. Who wants to read this one for me?
Step 5, choose among alternatives. Once you have weighed all the evidence, you're ready to select the alternative that seems to be the best one for you. You may even choose a combination of alternatives. Your choice in this may very likely be similar to the alternative you placed at the top of your list.
Yep. And now that is, hold on one second. So these are 5 steps, or I'm sorry. We're identifying the problem, right? So what was the problem? The sauce was burned. So, in what you would have to do is you would have to go through all of these steps and kind of go through and ask yourself all those questions and, take action. I think, my solution with the sauce burnt, maybe, my action would be, well, first of all, who wants to read take action, first of all, in step 6?
Take action. The stakes are high. Once they're made, they can't be unmade. They are what give unique meaning to the phrase often used to describe what it feels like to be a leader. It's lonely at the top.
Yeah, all right. So you got to take action. First of all, the buck stops with you, right? You are the boss. You are the one that's in charge, and you're the one that has to do it. And like they said, or the quote says, it's lonely at the top. And sometimes a lot of these decision-making things that we have to go through, sometimes people just don't appreciate all, and they don't like the action that we have to take sometimes, right? And sometimes the action is you're disciplined, or or I'm having to retrain you, or whatever else. It is lonely at the top when it comes to just managing, because you are the manager. You are the one that everybody is looking up to. So you've got to, to do certain things and say certain things that people don't like sometimes. And that is taking action. I mean, no matter what, taking action could be, praise, or it could be, termination type of deal, but you need to take action in some way, some form when there's a problem, no matter what. Because if you don't take action when you're a manager, if there's a problem, it's just going to snowball and get worse and worse and worse, right? Who's been in a situation where a manager didn't even go through any of these steps and just ignored a problem? Anybody ever had a manager or a boss ever just ignore the problem and didn't go through any of these steps?
Yeah.
It makes it 1,000 times worse by ignoring the problem, correct? It makes it worse. It just makes it, and then it just, once it comes out, it's so big, and the problem's so a big issue, and then it's worse then. But you need to make sure you really take action, and you deal with all the problems, and problems happen every day. I mean, even a small problem, let's say I don't know, someone dropped the soup, 5 gallons of soup on the ground. Well, that's a problem, right? I need, it's something simple, but it's still a problem, and we have to deal with it and take action. And then you review step 7. What's the last step? Someone want to read the last step for me?
In this final step, consider the results of your decision and whether or not it has been resolved. The need you identify is, I can't see that word. If the decision is not yet met the identified need, you may want to repeat certain steps of the process to make a new decision. For example, you may want to gather more detailed or somewhat different information to explore additional alternatives.
There you go. Very nice. All right, let's take, what, y'all want to take a 15-minute break? Let's take, let's see, let's say it's 7:10. Let's just say it's 7:10 right now. We'll take a 15-minute break. You good?
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds
sir.
good, Chef.
All right,
Gotcha.
cool. Come back in 15. Guys, I'm going to step away for a second. I'll be right back. we'll get started in about 3 more minutes or so, or a couple more minutes. And I just finished opening up all the check your knowledges for the last little bit. I think week 4, 5, and 6. I just opened. If there's any problems, let me know. I emailed the IT person to work on that one of the ones that, and I can't remember which one was not opening up or not allowing y'all to do it. But I sent an email on Friday. I can't remember what it was that was not opening up, but someone was telling me about that. All right, Alan, that's fine. The only thing is I would just watch the video, because I'm gonna save the video for when Chef Robin talks. I would just get on and watch that video if you missed what Chef Robin has to say.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, of course. All right. Let me get this back. Share. All right, so here is how to good decision. Hold on a
Dove
second.
Advanced Care's new formula, enriched with 1/4 moisturizers with natural oil, leaves underarms feeling healthy and protected, and you more confident and carefree. Effective protection coming to skin.
Can everybody hear that? See it? All right, cool.
Okay, so I'm Mikael, I'm from Finland, and this is Roman.
I'm from Switzerland.
And this is the end of PowerPoint for tonight.
We would like to start with a little test. It's a 1-question decision test.
Imagining the following situation. It's a Sunday night, you're home alone, and you've ordered a pizza, you opened up a good bottle of wine, and you decide that you would like to watch a movie. So you switch on to Netflix or whatever you're using, and you start browsing the different movies. Now, how difficult is it for you to choose a movie?
You have to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 meaning I have no problem at all. 10 meaning it takes me until the morning to choose a movie. I give you 3 seconds to pick a number. 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay. Everybody with a number from 1 to 5, please stand up.
Okay, I would say that's 80%.
Maybe, yeah.
Please remain standing. For those of you who stand up, now this is a typical good news, bad news situation. Bad news is you're not quite as good a decision maker as the other group. Good news, however, you're quite happy with your not so good decision.
Okay, you can sit down now. Now, everybody else from 6 to 10, please stand up and receive your verdict.
So again, it's good news, bad news. Good news, you're better at decision making than the other ones. Bad news, however, even with your best decisions, you're not really happy because you ask yourself, maybe there could have been an even better option. Roman and I, by the way, we both struggle with decision making. He is an extreme, what are you, a 1 or a 2?
Yes.
And I'm not even on the chart. And we asked ourselves, why? Why is it that we find it so difficult to choose? Not only we, many in this room also. And why is it that we find it difficult to take decisions? And we looked into the research behind decision making and we wrote some books about it. And tonight, in the next minutes, we're going to show you the 3 problems of decision making.
Problem number 1, it's preparing. So it's the question of how do you prepare your decision, or what is your information strategy? We would like to illustrate it on 2 axes. You have the x-axis, which is the amount of information you need in order to come up with a decision, compared to the degree of confusion in your head that this information provokes. So what's the relation of confusion and information? It's an inverted bell curve. And that's what we call the TMI paradox, the too much information paradox.
It works like this. If you have very little information, you feel confused. And if we are confused, our brain tells us, go get some information for me. So we start to research. And the more we know about any given topic, the more confident we feel to make a decision about it. But there's a tipping point. You can actually know too much. And I think we all have experienced that situation. It's the moment when you start questioning your own knowledge. You get confused and until you don't know who you are and where you come from, and you feel unable to make a decision. And if you would look at brain scans from people who have too little information and those who have too much information, those scans look pretty much the same. And this too much information paradox can also be applied to other situations. The American scientist Sheena Iyengar did that when she looked at our behavior in supermarkets. She realized if we have too few choices, we don't like to buy anything. Because we ask ourselves, maybe there's another shop with more stuff. If we, however, have too many choices, we like to look at things, but we feel overwhelmed. We experience what she called the choice overload problem. And according to her theory, there is obviously a right amount of items the human mind likes to choose between. I think that's approximately somewhere between 3 and 6. So that's the amount we like to choose between.
But life is not a supermarket.
Now, if it comes to the really, really big life-changing decisions, so the things that really matter to you, when do you know that you know enough?
And that brings us to the second problem of decision making. It's the timing. It's also referred to as the OMG-TIU problem. And all the TED talkers know that one, having this countdown clock in your face. It's the, oh my God, time's up problem. And again, we would like to illustrate it on 2 axes.
Now, the older we get, the more we know. So maybe we can say at the end of our lives, we can really tell at the end of our lives, we can actually tell what was a good decision and what was not such a good decision in our lives. We might tell at the end of our lives it was a good choice to pick that job and it was maybe not such a good choice to marry that person. But the problem with life, as the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said, it can only be understood backwards, but unfortunately, we have to live it forwards. So we can't take all the big decisions at the end of our lives. We have to take them early on at a stage where we know very little about the outcome of these decisions. The problem with early decisions is that the consequences are very huge. And let me explain that to you with a little metaphor. It's a little bit like archery. If you shoot and you aim at a goal, and now you just move a little bit to your right, an arrow will fly many, many meters to the right. But if you stand directly in front of a goal, or so to speak, if you're at the end of your life or at the end of a project, and you make the same movement, this hardly changes the goal. You will hit exactly the same spot. So the decisions that are taken early on have way bigger consequences.
This chart of two Danish organizational theorists brings us probably to the core of decision making, and that's uncertainty. If we have to take decisions early, we don't know what their outcome will be. That's in the future. And just think it through. If you would be 100% sure of something, then we wouldn't talk about the decision any longer. Then it's just a fact, an imperative. So there's nothing to decide, you just have to act. And that brings us to the third stage of a decision, it's regretting it. So it's the point of view, it's the retrospective, you decided, and now it's the question of how you live with your decision, and we like to call it the PDF, the post-decision feeling.
Now, post-decision, you can measure that with two parameters. One is how happy you are with your decisions compared to how much you expected from the decisions. And this is a fairly simple concept. One can say, the more you expect of a decision, the happier you get if this decision turns out to be good. But again, there's a tipping point. You can often expect too much of your decisions. That's when you try to aim for the perfect decision. And perfection is something that I think we all strive for. We all would like to have the perfect job or the perfect partner. Roman and I would like to do the perfect TED Talk tonight. But the longer I'm up here on stage, the more I feel maybe perfection is a little bit like Nessie, the monster from Loch Ness. It's rumored to exist, but no one has ever seen it.
Now, remember the test we just did 5 minutes ago. What was your number?
Those of you who scored under 5, you would be on the left side here. It's called pragmatic decision-making style, or as scientists put it, you are a satisfizer. Satisfizer is a word combination out of two words. You can say you're satisfied with your decision, but it also comes from the word suffix, so enough. You realize it wasn't maybe the perfect decision, but the decision was good enough. Those of you, however, who scored over 5 are what scientists call maximizer. You try to maximize your decision and make the absolute perfect choice, so you aim for little Nessie up there.
Now, preparing, timing, regretting, it's like kind of 3 phases or 3 stages in the decision-making process, and now we try to sum them up in one drawing. That's why he does the talking and I'm drawing.
I'm a pragmatist. Now, if we look at these three problems and we try to translate them into questions, we could ask yourself, do I know enough? Secondly, is this the right moment for a decision? And then we have the third difficult question. What if Nessie exists?
No.
So this is the retrospective, regretting question. Could there have been a better option? Now, all of these three questions deal with the uncertain, because the answer to the questions only lie in the future. And the future, as we heard today all day, it's invisible. We'll never know what will happen. So when it comes to decision making, how do you deal with the unknown? There is a guy who thought he knew the answer to that. And he himself took some poor choices in life, but he had a very interesting approach to decision making. I'm talking about former US Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld. During a press conference, he once said that unknown question, the future, have two parameters. We only have the known and the unknowns. And Roman and I translated this now into a little matrix. So what we have is the known knowns, the things we know we know. It's very simple to make those decisions. You just know what to do. If you're afraid of burglars, lock the door. Now, but there are also the known unknowns, the things we know we don't know. So these are things we know will happen, but we, for example, don't know when they will happen or how. The perfect example for this is maybe the stock market. Everyone knows they will go down once in a while. But no one knows when this will happen or how hard it will crash.
Then we have the unknown knowns.
The things we don't know, we know. Most researchers agree that there is a thing in us that knows more than we actually think we know. And you can call that intuition or inner voice or gut feeling or blink, as Malcolm Gladwell put it. It's the thing that gives you a good feeling when you decide. And when it comes to decision making and intuition, you could say that we all make bad decisions. But those bad decisions that we make intuitively, we regret less than those we did rationally. So human beings tend to forgive their gut more than their head.
The unknown unknowns.
So, the things we don't know, we don't know. Donald Rumsfeld explained this with Pearl Harbor. The Americans weren't prepared because they didn't know that the Japanese could attack with kamikaze pilots. A more recent example for this could maybe be 9/11. And 9/11 and Pearl Harbor are just examples for this, what we call black swans. So the concept that we didn't expect something. Before the first black swan was discovered, no one has ever thought about it. But once it was there, it seems quite logical.
My limited drawing skills. That's a swan. So what's the takeaway?
Now, I would not recommend that you should hire Donald Rumsfeld as your chief decision maker. However, I think it's interesting to think about the question he raises. When do you take the time to think about the unthinkable?
And with this little brain teaser, we would like to send you home. And thank you very much, TEDx Danubia, for the invitation. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was a good video showing you how important it is to make a decision in how decision making the process goes, and how, you know, kind of at the very end or closer to the end, they were talking about you don't know what the outcome's going to be until it's completely done. So, you know, you are trying to make the best informed decisions that you can make in a restaurant or in your business in general. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare, sorry. But, you know, when you're doing that, when you're making decisions, very important to try to make the best informed decision as possible, because you really don't know what the outcome is going to be until it's at the end. So you want to gather up as much information as possible to make an informed decision. All right, now here is a micromanagement basically. Has anybody ever been micromanaged before?
Yes.
When you're so in a decision making, when you're getting micromanaged, you know, what is y'all's feeling about you know, trying to be, you know, micromanaged when there's some decision making that needs to happen? Anybody want to? What? Go ahead.
One thing I've noticed is that when someone is micromanaging, often they think they know everything that's going on, but they don't have all of the information they're not on the ground. So they don't really know.
I kind of agree with you on that, because a lot of times the micromanaging happens with bosses or people that are not running that job or not doing that particular job at that moment in time, and they don't know it. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, it almost feels like an insecurity of their position. They've moved up and they should be managing, and instead they want to be executing, so they don't trust their people to execute, and so they don't have the information. They think they do because they used to be an executor.
Yes.
They're really insecure, so they micromanage to try to get it done. And then what usually happens is the people underneath them stop making decisions because they're used to having all the decisions made for them. And then it does grow. Exactly.
You said exactly what it is, for sure. You know, and I think that when like a manager micromanage an employee, what does it make you feel like when people are micromanaging you and trying to tell you, you know, this is the problem, but it's really not, or whatever else? It gets frustrating, correct? It feels like you're, you know, banging your head up against the wall or whatever else. They're not listening because you know, they're trying to micromanage and not really do what needs to be done, for sure. How has anybody ever any other good examples of micromanaging?
So I used to work back in the day at Radio Shack, and I had this district manager who would like, he had certain verbiage that he wanted us to use, and he came to my store once and we weren't using his verbiage, we were using a different verbiage, and he got on
Uh-huh.
my for not using his verbiage. But
Really? Yeah.
yeah, I have the top store in that matrix, so obviously I'm doing something right. So it's kind of the opposite, where I wouldn't shut down and not make decisions. This is gonna
Mhm.
sound bad and kind of cocky, but I'd be like in my head, just like, shut up, you're an idiot, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah. No, and you know what? And sometimes, again, like I said, you can throw a manager title on anybody, but are they really manager material, right? Have you set them up to succeed? And maybe that district manager was just not you know not really I mean, first of all, I mean, that's not how you manage someone properly. So in what it made you feel like, this guy's, it made you feel bad. It made you feel like, screw it, I'm going to do whatever I want to do type of deal. And realistically, just because of that one person, it screws up everything, because then, maybe because you're doing your own thing, right? You want to do your thing because it's working correctly, right? And then this person's doing, and y'all are fighting against each other in a way. One is yin, one is yang type of deal. One says, one thing, one says the other, and it's not a cohesive, relationship. So, in with that being said, it could cause problems. This guy could, I mean, you could physically get upset, angry, yell, whatever else, or, just micromanaging is not the end all be all thing to do. You should, I should say, you should never really micromanage. You should manage by, a smart way, but not micromanaging, because everybody feels, like you're just on their back. You're always on their case, kind of a deal, micromanaging. And it's like, you don't trust your employees, and trust is the most important thing you have when it comes to employees. If you don't trust your employees, then they shouldn't be your employee to begin with, right? You should get rid of them, because if you don't trust them that much, if you can't let them make decisions, then why have them at your facility to begin with, right? So micromanaging is not the way to go. It is not the ideal management style, for sure not. Common signs of micromanaging: projects drag on forever. What are some other signs of micromanaging? I mean, the frustration, little interest are motivating. That was like you weren't motivated to do anything he wanted to do, right? Roy, you were like, screw you. I'm doing my own thing. I don't, and that's kind of what it made you feel like. This guy doesn't trust you. He doesn't look at your numbers correctly. He should know that you're hitting your numbers right, or whatever else. And really, what does it matter if you don't say the verbiage correct? Are you still getting the job done? Yes, and you've got to kind of look at it in that way. But these are some signs of micromanaging, and for sure, a lot of, sometimes after, especially with someone that loves to give a lot of, feedback, you just get deaf. You get tired of hearing them squawk. It's like a talking head, right? You don't want to hear them anymore. Sorry, my dog.
Chime in on one thing here. You mentioned briefly the physical aspects of it. So you can tend to get stressed out when someone's micromanaging you also. So I actually ended up like having ulcers and having to take medication for that type of thing, because I was just inducing so much stress. And like, like you have to find ways to try to cope with that. And
Yes.
he was a terrible manager, right? But at the same time, when he was trying to tell me that I was doing something wrong, I was getting letters from corporate like, thank you, like you're hitting the right metrics. So there can be some satisfaction still, but like I'm not dealing with corporate every day. I'm dealing with this guy every day.
Yeah. No, and for sure, and I appreciate you bringing that up and talking about that, because again, with all those decisions, with all that micromanaging, all of that, that is a lot of stress on somebody for sure. I mean, it will drag you down in especially your health for sure. Because I've been there where, you're just stressed out and your health takes a toll because you're not, because someone is micromanaging you all the time. They're always questioning your every move, and that's very difficult. So for sure, you got to watch in micromanaging will cause your health to go bad. Now, and so that means try not to micromanage, try not to be one of those people that are always, try to become a better manager than that manager from Radio Shack, because always learn from your, other people's mistakes. And that right there is not a good way to manage. Now, when you're managing, part of management, or part of you as a manager in dealing with stuff, you have to delegate, right? Delegation is something you're going to have to do, and a lot of times you have to delegate. Even if you're not a manager, you still have to delegate certain things, do certain things, right? No matter what, you've got to tell people to do something, to do a job that maybe they don't want to do or whatever else, and try to be able to delegate it or get them to do it in a way where they're not going to cause any, they're not going to be upset or whatever else, but you need to be able to delegate certain items. But you've got to understand that you can't just delegate your whole job to everybody. You can't do, like I can't delegate my, evaluation, end of the year evaluations, because, a line cook shouldn't do evaluations for everybody else. I should be doing it. So there are certain delegations that I have to do, or that are certain things I have to do, and there are certain things I have to delegate. And determining who the person is that I need to delegate, that's kind of my way, or I need to figure out who I need to delegate and who knows that information or whatever else. So anyway, and that gives me kind of freedom to be able to do other, because as a manager, you have so many jobs, so many things to do. You can't do them all. So you have to get other people to do them. And being able to delegate is very important, knowing how to do that. And, and I guess delegating it without making people feel like I'm taking advantage of you. Does that make sense? You need to be able to delegate without making people feel like they're getting taken advantage of. Okay, so very, very important. Deciding when to delegate. Honestly, for me is for me is depending on I need to get done and how much product I need to do, or what I need to do, how much bogged down I am, or whatever else. So really deciding when to delegate, it depends on what kind of situation I'm in, right? And what do I need to be delegated? But determining okay, so delegating versus work directing, and there's a little differences. Does someone could someone read this for me? By
Delegating versus work directing. Delegating is different than work directing. Work directing is telling someone what to do and how to do it. There usually is much less freedom as to how the employee does the task, and many times there is much less ownership, participation, and learning on the part of the employee as well. Delegating authority versus tasks gives the delegates the power to lead others, gives the delegate superiority over other employees, makes the delegate assign responsibilities to other employees. They both have in common, which is shift responsibilities to another person. And then versus task, which is requires to delegate a performance task, puts it on a position of inferiority, and makes the delegate accountable for the task. That is little. I need my glasses.
so in someone's words, in someone's own words, what is delegate and work directing? What's the difference? Does anybody know?
Is like telling an employee, here's this end goal. And it doesn't tell them like, you have to do it this way. It's saying that we need this end goal taken care of, and I want you to take care of this, take direction, take leadership of this task. Versus work directing is, I'm going to stare over your shoulder because I told you how to do it, and I'm going to watch you do it the way I told you to do it.
That's correct. That's correct. And would you be able, or do you see, or could you see yourself doing both, or is one better than the other, or what?
I think
Sometimes
that's
you have
about the task itself. So say someone's making a sauce, but they don't know how to do it. And it's like a very technical sauce that they're making. So in that case, you're definitely going to be directing them. You're going to be telling them the specific steps they have to take to make the sauce. Versus they already know how to make the sauce, and you just need the sauce made for the next upcoming shift. That person you're going to delegate, versus the other person you're going to have to like actually direct. So I think it really just depends on the situation, the task itself, and just the overall like goal you're trying to accomplish.
I completely agree with you on that. And it's, as a manager, you have to be smart and think about all of those. There are different scenarios and different ways. So what you need to do in the process. And it's a balance act. And I'm not gonna really, the one thing I want you to make sure it's balancing. You need to balance it. You need to have a balance, and so you don't want it too heavy on one end. You don't want it heavy on the other end. So it is a balancing act when it comes to delegating and making sure that you're not ruling by the iron fist kind of a deal, right? You never want to rule by the iron fist and be all up in their business that much, because it's that balancing act, trying to balance it out, deciding when to delegate and when not to delegate. I think that's the biggest deal, and who to delegate it to, and those are the things. I think that's really important. Managers spend a lot of time making decisions. Up to 75% of their time is spent on decision making. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that is a lot of time to spend just making decisions. So sometimes you have to delegate. You're delegating. You're making decisions on ordering. Hiring, firing. You name it. But you're spending 75% of your time making decisions and trying to run the facility. So deciding when to delegate, it really kind of depends on what you're doing and what it is. 7 stages for delegating, and here they are. Put these 7 delegation stages basically process. So what's number 1? Someone read number 1 for me.
Learn to let go.
Learn to let go. Okay. What's the number 2?
Establish a firm priority system.
Yep. Okay. Establish a firm system. Basically a system. You need to establish a system. And okay, number 3.
Play to your workers.
And you can read them all.
Always include instructions. Don't be afraid to teach new skills. Trust and verify. Feedback to improve.
All right. So let it go. Learn to let it go. Yeah. I mean, once I delegate, I let them do it. Let them do it. Don't be sitting there trying to, get in their business or like, you do this or do that. No, don't do that. Just let it go. Just lean back and let it go. All right. Establish a procedure. Play with the strong, get your stronger workers to do it. Don't be afraid to, teach them new skills, trust but verify. Yeah, you've always, no matter what, I trust my employees. And I will always say this, guys, I trust you, but I'm going to always verify that it's done correct. Trust but verify, plain and simple. And always ask for feedback. Always, have feedback because, no matter what, there's always going to be a better way of doing things or getting, or there might have been a challenge that they had to work with or deal with. So always knowing and always, because knowledge is important, and as much information as possible, the better you get. So, kind of like those guys were saying in the TED Talk, very important to gather up as much information as possible. But sometimes you can have too much information, but gather up as much information as possible to make a informed decision. Learn to let it go. Again, here you go. Just let it go. It's like that, was that in Frozen? Let it go, or what is that song? Whatever it is. Anyway, but just let it go, guys. As a manager, you've got to figure out a way, and I've seen managers say, oh, I can't delegate this. I don't want to delegate this. Guys, you can't do it all yourself, plain and simple. You can't do it all yourself. You got to have people to help you get it all done. So, be able to let that go. Learn, and this is all about trying to let it go. Guys, if you are in this school, you are a bit of a control freak, plain and simple. Most all, people in a kitchen are control freaks to a point. No matter what, if you're in the school, I guarantee you, or if you're in my class right now, you have a little control freak in you, because, in this industry, because it's all about control. It's all kind of, we want to control that's good example. That's why we usually use unsalted butter. Why? Because I want to control the salt. I don't want someone to put the salt in the butter. I want to salt my own. So, I mean, that's a good example, a small good example of no one in the industry ever uses salted butter unless we have it on the table, right? You know, for bread or whatever else. But in the industry, no one uses salted butter because we want to control it. We want to control the salt. So we're control freaks. So trying to tell someone and to try to get y'all to understand, and why I'm beating this into your head is because sometimes it is so difficult to just let it go and to let someone else do a job that you know, backwards, forwards, front, sideways, you know this job so good. But as a manager, you need to make sure that your employee knows that job as good as you. So you need to just suck it up. And if they screw it up, that's part of the job, right? Part of them learning, right? You know, just let it go and move on and just kind of, that's just part of delegating, part of managing. So if you can do whatever you can, but let it go. If not, you're going to be like Roy, frustrated with that guy when he was at Radio Shack. Because if not, if you can't let it go, you're going to have that person hounding you, you know, all the time, or just kind of riding your butt the whole time. So let's see.
How many times do you really just let, like,
Hold on one second. You're kind of breaking up.
a person that is good intentions, good heart, all that, but you know,
Here, let me stop.
little small
Hold on one second.
you know, errors. How
I don't think she
all of that stuff, how
Okay. Hey, can you, you're kind of breaking up. Could you repeat what you said? Because I could not hear it. Can you repeat what you said? Because I couldn't hear it.
Okay, yeah. I was saying, you know, how long do you, I mean, how many times can you really truly just let something go? Like if you have a good employee, you trust them, everything is good, but they keep making these small mistakes over and over and over. And, you know, you've trained them, you've delegated, you've done all the things that you can possibly, like how many times is enough? Because you do want to be successful and everything. Because I have a big, so I will let somebody, you know, make that mistake for a while, and but then I'll be mad at myself for letting them do it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying, and it really kind of. I mean, does anybody want to jump in? I mean, for me, it's really it depends on the situation. For me. You know, in the severity of what they're screwing up. But it's kind of you know, I will always, no matter what, I usually make a notation if something messes up or if they screw up, I usually notate that. And then, you know, and it kind of depends on, it really kind of depends on the person, their skill level, and the amount that they screw up in a way. So I mean, I've usually
Chef, I can
three
jump
or
in.
four times. Yeah, go for it. I mean,
I find that if you continue to coach somebody over and over and over and over again on the same thing, one of two things is going to happen. They're going to stop doing it, or they're going to get so tired of you coaching them on the same thing that the problem will solve itself and they'll stop working for you.
Yeah. I would say 3, 4, times, but, I mean, it really kind of depends on the severity of what it is. If it's costing me a lot of money, the screw ups, for sure, you're gone. But if it's something, something small, that they don't, as long as they don't do the same mistake, but if they keep doing the same mistake, that it's 3 times. If they do the same mistake 3 times, they're gone for me. Basically, if it's the same mistake over and over again, and I sat down and kind of talked to them after each mistake, but it's got to be the same mistake usually, or similar. If it's 3 times, and you're out for me when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, usually, because I'll have to redirect them and probably discipline them a little bit. And then after a while, they're probably not going to want to, because I'm on them all the time probably, or I'm, getting kind of micromanaging a little bit more because they are screwing up so much. So I don't trust them as much. So I'm with them a lot more, so that means that they might not want that, so they'll probably leave, like Melissa was saying. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Cool. All right, let me share this. Thank you, Melissa, for helping.
Hey, John. Are you finished with that project analysis report? I stopped by Jeremy's desk. He said you're still working on it.
Finishing it right now. It would have taken too long to get Jeremy up to speed on this project, so I decided to do it myself. I should have it ready for you in about the next hour.
Okay. But we just need it by close of business so that we can review it before the client meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
I know. It'll be ready, don't worry.
Hey, John. Mr. Fujiyama's on the line for the 3rd time today. He said he really needs to talk to you. Can I forward him to Marie? She is the lead on his project.
No, Teresa, I really need to handle Mr. Fujiyama myself. He's a very important client. Tell him I'll call him back in 1 hour.
Okay.
Hey, John. You ready to go to lunch?
I don't have time for lunch today. I am too busy. I know we were going to discuss the meeting with the IBT group tomorrow, but...
It's okay. I already put talking points together. You want to see them?
No. Actually, I think you should use mine. I wrote these down in the Starbucks line. Use these. Sorry, I wasn't able to text them to you on the phone, but I was talking with a client.
Okay.
John.
I'm sorry, I was just resting my eyes. What time is it? Oh no, it can't be 3 already. What am I gonna do?
John, calm down. What's going on here?
Well, I was up late last night working on these projects, and I guess I just fell asleep. I can't believe this. I try as hard as I can, but I just can't seem to keep up. And I feel like I've only had about 2 hours sleep since I got promoted a month ago. Oh no, and I still have to call Mr. Fujiyama back.
John, come into my office and we'll discuss this further.
Well, no, really, I can explain everything, please. I mean, I know you hired me because I'm the guy that gets things done. I still am that guy. I just need some time.
Okay, take a deep breath and come into my office. We need to talk about delegation.
All right. Yeah, that's just a good kind of example of delegating. Hold on, cancel. That is a good example of, we're gonna watch one more video and then Chef Robin will be in, and then and then she'll finish out the class. So we're gonna watch one more video and. All right, so the reasons for delegating right here: free up your time, right? You know, you have a lot of things to do when you're managing. It frees up your time. Develop skills for other people. Like I was saying, I have the skills, you know, or you have the skills. Let's get someone else to have those skills as well. Proves that I trust the team. Proves that I trust somebody. You know, that trust goes a long way. I think is very important and helps with the planning and all of that sort of stuff. So very important, delegating. So look, very important. Feedback is very important when it comes to when you're delegating, because of if you don't get the feedback, you're not going to be able to determine what or give them feedback, what went right, what went wrong, what they could do better, what they could have done better, all of that. Now, hey guys, why don't we take a 5-minute break? Y'all come back in 5 minutes, and that will give you a little fresh time, freshen up, and then Chef Robin will be back in here, or will be in here in a couple of minutes, and then y'all can listen to her. So if you need to get up and walk around for a sec, you take 5 minutes, and and then she will be in here to talk to y'all. Cool? So I'll give you 5 minutes. Come back in 5 minutes. Hey, Shannon. Morning, Shannon. I gave them a 5-minute break. They'll be back here in a couple of minutes. Oh, hey. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I got another hour. Okay, okay. Oh. All right, since we'll wait on Chef Robin, but I will, Shannon, do you want to start or do you want to wait for Chef Robin? You're on mute.
I'll go ahead and start. She had to take one of her dogs to the vet this morning, having Mercy overnight.
Okay.
So, yeah, so hopefully the dog's okay, but I can get started.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Shannon Jacobs. I am the specialist here at Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Basically, I am your first contact if you have any questions about anything. So in the past, you guys have been going to your rep, the rep who recruited you. You're not going to go to them anymore. You're going to come to me from now on because I am in the academics department. They're in the admissions department and recruiting. They don't know the ins and outs of the academic world like we do. So again, I'm your first contact. I will put my contact information in the chat bubble thingy over here. Well, I'll do that after I finish talking. So my job is you guys. All I do is work to help you guys. That's it. That is it. Sometimes I teach a history class, but honestly, you are my focus 100%. So let's talk a little bit about a couple things that I work on with you guys. The first is attendance. Chef Cliff, I'm sure, has explained attendance to you, so I'm not going to go through all of the ins and outs of how many days you're allowed to miss and all of that kind of thing, because frankly, we don't want you to miss any days. We expect you to be in class every day for the full time because every minute counts. In the state of Texas, attendance is counted by the minute, not by the hour, not by the day, not by the class period, by the minute. So every minute that you're late, it counts against you. Every minute you leave early, it counts against you. Every day that you're absent, it counts against you. Another fun and special fact about the state of Texas education system is that there are no excused absences, period. Period. There are no excused absences. So if something happens and you need to go to a funeral or someone gets sick or something like that, you just need to reach out to me and talk to me and we'll work it out and we'll get you fixed through makeup. If you're going to miss a lot of time, if a family member suddenly gets sick and you need to take a couple of weeks off, we will talk to you about taking a leave of absence at that point. Communication is key in respect to these kinds of absences, guys. You have to tell us if something's happening. Your dad has a heart attack and you need to go home for a month. You have to tell us right away. You have to tell us. Don't go home for that month and not tell us because we're going to think you've just abandoned school and we're going to dismiss you. Okay, so guys, communication. We're going to work with you as much as we can. But you got to tell us what's going on. And I'm the person you talk to first. Okay, so that's attendance. Just be here every day, guys. If you're not, talk to your chef. And then Chef Cliff will communicate that information to me. So that's just very important, all right? We have a chain of command here. Very much like the military, that's what Escoffier intended when he created the industry, basically. So what happens is you will talk to Chef. If Chef has questions, he will ask me. And then if I have questions, I will ask my boss. Generally, I can answer any question that you have. If I don't, I can send you to the person who can. So just keep that in mind. You go to Chef, then you go to me. All right, and this is the way it is for the rest of the time you're here. You go to your instructor first, and then you go to me. Your instructor is generally going to say, oh, that's a Shannon question, and you just come to me. Again, we're going to work with you to figure all that out. I'm also the ADA coordinator. ADA stands for Adults with Disabilities Act. So I am the person that you will talk to if you are living with a disability that affects you in a way that you require accommodations. Now, you will know if you require accommodations because you had accommodations in high school, or because you have a doctor's note, or you have a diagnosis, I should say, from a doctor, and that doctor has given you special sort of instructions on how to proceed with your daily life. Okay? Now, if those special instructions include something like you have to sit for a certain amount of time, or if there are certain things that certain physical things that you just cannot do, you need to communicate that to us immediately so that we can make what we call reasonable accommodations for you. Meaning, if you can't stand for all 5 hours, you need to take 10 minutes to sit every once in a while. We're gonna talk to our instructors about allowing you to take those small breaks, in the kitchen. If you suffer from ADHD, or if you're living with ADHD and sometimes you have to stand up in an electric class just because I understand how chefs works, guys. I understand this. You're kinetic learners. Sitting for a long period of time might just get you. So if you're in class and you need to stand up, stand up. It's not a big deal. We understand that. I realize that we're all online right now, and some of these things that I'm talking about are kind of difficult to process. When you're actually on campus with this, you'll understand when you're sitting in my history class and I've bored you to death and you need to stand up because you think you might fall asleep. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that, okay? Guys, if you are on a course of medicine for any reason at all, I don't care if it's asthma, if it's lupus, stay on your meds, all right? Do what the doctor has told you to do. Culinary school is not going to cure your ills. If anything, it's going to add a little bit of stress to you, and we don't want you stressing out, guys. We want you having a nice, easy, enjoyable experience here at Escoffier. So if you're taking meds for something, please stay on your meds. Every block I have a student who comes to me and says, oh, well, I went off my depression meds. Well, why did you do that? I take depression meds every day because I have to, because if I go off of them, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you like this. So there's no shame in taking your meds. Just stay on them. We want you to be as healthy mentally and physically as possible so that we can have a nice, easy year with you guys. All right, so do you have any questions for me? Nope.
No, but I can think.
Okay, so just real quick reiterate, I'm your first contact. Come to me, guys. It's always easiest if you come to me first, because then I can just spread the love throughout the school if I have to. Generally, I can answer the question as fast as possible on my own. So just let me know if you guys need help. I'm gonna put my email information in the chat. Email is the best way to get a hold of me right now because we're still quarantined. So that's all you need to do for me. It's just to send me a quick email, ask me a question, and I'll figure it out for you. All right? Thank you guys.
I'm sorry. I just have one. So, am I breaking up?
Yeah, you were, but I think go ahead now.
Okay. So previously with GI Bill stuff, we can come to you with that stuff too.
I will send you to financial aid for that.
Okay. Okay.
So generally, it's for any kind of monetary, anything that's fiscal, guys. Anything that has to do with money, you should talk to financial aid about. That's just we don't do in academics. We don't do anything with financial aid.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And if you need that information for financial aid, I can get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys,
of course.
So Shelley Farley. Oh yeah, go ahead, Sandra.
I remember reading in the handbook and everything about piercings, and of course, I'm not wearing any earrings, but I do have a nose ring that will not come out. It's like in there, it's been there for like 7 years already, and it won't come out. But is
Okay,
that
so-
going to affect anything?
Honestly, yes. Here's the deal, guys. We follow for as far as like uniform standards. Our uniform standards are our own, but things like piercings, perfumes, makeup, heavy makeup, false eyelashes, things like that, those are actual health risks. And it is the health department that creates those rules that we have to follow. So, I mean, I know I know the nose ring's been in there for a long time, but it could fall out. That's how we look at it. So, I know Chef Robin has a response to that that's actually better to tell you how to get it out, to tell you the truth, if it's stuck in there.
Chef Robin, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, we don't allow any kind of visible jewelry at all. I don't know exactly where you're at now. It does say, according to health code standards, you can wear a smooth wedding ring, but even that, I would probably tell you just to not wear that up there, because we've had chefs lose their chef ring or their wedding ring before. So just remove all jewelry. I mean, there are a number of chefs that actually wear jewelry outside of the kitchens, but we do not wear it in when we're cooking. And because as you get into next block, you'll be going into Serve Safe for your first week, and they're going to be talking to you about what's called a physical hazard, and that's what jewelry is, and it's on the Serve Safe website. I had a student try to contest me on this not too long ago, so I screenshotted the test that she took, describing what physical contaminants were, and said, you understand this, right? And you're going to be getting some things in the email, I should say, and it's going to be coming from the admissions office, and it's called Day 3 paperwork. And in there is your uniform standard. And so that way you know exactly what we're talking about. But it's not just us being lame. It really is to keep people safe. If you have a piece of permanent jewelry that is not medically required, if you're local, I would recommend going to Atomic Tattoo. They're really good, painless folks. They can take out a piercing if you need it removed. But yeah, we don't. And it's 20% of your grade, guys. Okay, so don't make a piece of jewelry more important than your education, because the chefs, when you start going into the kitchens and stuff, they're going to take 20% off your grade for that piece of jewelry, and that's just not worth it. So just put it, take it off, put it in your pocket, whatever you're going to do, or leave it at home. And what's that? What's that?
Yeah, I think she asked if you could put a bandage.
Nope,
She has a nose ring.
Then it's a double contaminant. Then it can fall out. Then the Band-Aid can fall off, and then the nose ring can fall out. So no jewelry, no covering of the jewelry, no jewelry. Okay. I need to be as clear as possible, because I've had some people that didn't quite get that, and they get very upset with me. So please have it all removed before you come to class. You're only in labs for about 4 to 5 hours. So it's really such a small part of your day. Your hole is not going to close up. So please have it removed. Shannon, what have you covered so far? I'm sorry, I was late. You're muted.
You're muted, Shannon.
I've covered everything that I do: first contact, attendance, ADA, and that's it.
Okay.
So.
Another thing I want to talk about is, if you haven't already, make sure you've set up your emails. Okay. Some of you who were on orientation know that I talk about how important that is. Being virtual the way that we are, that's the best way for us to get in touch with you. All major communications are going to come through that email. We are not going to reach out to your personal email, and we won't respond to your personal email. So you've got to get these set up. And we do this because I know that when I set up these emails, that who it's going to. I know it's not going to your mom or your cousin or your friend or whoever. We know that you're the only one who has access to that email. And sometimes we send sensitive information through there that you may not want other people to know about. So please make sure you're setting that up. And if you're having trouble, you can always reach out to Zendesk. I'm going to put their number in the chat here. Let's see, it's 877-224-8576. And that is Zendesk, everybody. So if you ever have any kind of technical difficulties, you can call that phone number. Super nice guys. It's not just some remote company. It's actually people that work for our company. It's our own private Zendesk. So, and they'll be glad to help you. But I cannot stress enough how important it is that you get these emails set up and ready to roll, and that you're checking them at least a couple of times a day. And the reason for that is I know you guys all want to get your knife kit, you want to get your books, you want to get all these things. That's how we get in touch with you, so we can get these things to you. Okay. That we'll text message too. We're going to try every different way to get a hold of you, but I'm going to be sending out an email to you guys in the next couple of weeks asking if you're interested in hybrid or online. So if you want to have a say, it's kind of like voting. You've got to respond. If you don't respond, I'll decide for you. And that sounds really harsh, but at the end of the day, I got a campus to run, right? And so I can't wait for people to get onto their emails 6 weeks after I ask them a question. So the best thing for you to do is to check your email once or twice a day, answer your emails, and be done with it. Trust me, I don't necessarily enjoy emails either, but it is what it is right now, okay? So it's something we all have to be a part of. So I want you to get the best experience, and this is me telling you how to get the best experience, okay? Also, you guys are in what we call a chalk and talk class, right? And it can get a little wonky and a little heavy. And even though Chef Cliff is fun and engaging, I need you guys to understand something. And Chef Cliff, I noticed, is really good about getting everybody to finish their assignments. I cannot stress how important those assignments are, okay? Let me see. I want to look at something really fast. The class that you're in, if I can get my Google to work, that would be great. There we go. The class that you're in, the assignments that are in there are worth 25% of your grade. So if you don't do the assignments, you're already at a 75. Okay, that's if you do 100% work every day, and not everybody does 100% work. The knowledge checks are 32%. So guys, those two things in your class, if you don't do those, you're already at a 50% and you failed. You're done. It doesn't matter that you're here every day. It doesn't matter that you get good grades every day for your daily participation. It doesn't matter. What matters are those assignments, okay? And then on top of that,
those are those assignments that you and I talked about, of the check your knowledge and those little those assignments that you've got to go through. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've got a menu analysis in there that's worth 10%, and then the final project, which is worth 20. Okay, so take this seriously. Don't think, oh, I'm showing up every day, I've got this made. No, you've got to have some skin in the game. You've got to get those assignments done. Okay, and your chef is there to support you every minute of the way. But I would be remiss if I didn't just come in and just really give you the straightforward of it all, okay? Because right now I'm dealing with a number of students who didn't listen to me, and now we're trying to help them, okay? So please hear me, heed my warning, and make sure you get all those assignments done, okay? Don't wait till the last minute. Shelly's here with us, and she's going to talk to you guys about attendance. Shelly, are you there? I think she's frozen.
Yeah, she's there, but she is frozen.
Shannon looks frozen too. Shannon, are you there?
No, it's just Shelly. Oh, now she's off.
Let me see if she may have had to hop off. Let me talk about attendance until she gets back on, and I'll let her explain it to you. Attendance is one of the number one reasons why we have to dismiss people, okay? And everybody thinks that they've got it. Oh, I've got this under control. You know, it's all right if I miss a couple of days. It's really not, because we're watched by the state of Texas. This isn't an Escoffier rule. This is the state of Texas. State of Texas is exceptionally hard ass about attendance. Okay, they watch every minute. So if you're late every day or you leave early, that it adds up. so if you miss a couple of days, you're late, you leave early, it catches up with you. And before you know it, you've missed 20% of the class. And that seems like a lot. It's really not a lot. Okay. And once you hit that 20%, what happens is then you're on probation. And once you're on probation, it's exceptionally hard to get off of it. Okay. So my best advice to you is don't get on probation. Okay. We'll do everything in our power to help you get across that finish line without being on probation. But if we reach out to you, if I reach out to you and say, hey, you're going to be on probation next block, you need to jump on it. Okay. That's because I'm not just going to text you for fun. I'm going to text you because I'm trying to save your behind. So if you hear from Shannon or Shelly or I saying, hey, we're here to help, we want to help you with this. But anyways, make sure that you respond to us. Now, let's say you end up on probation. Okay. Attendance probation. If you miss another 20% in the next block that you're in, you're going to be dismissed. Okay. Don't do that, because when I say it catches up with you very easily, Shannon, can you back me up on this, please? And just, oh my God. Sorry, I'm getting blown up on my phone. I apologize. Shannon, will you address what makeup and attendance?
Sure. We talked about it just a little bit. Before you got on. So as Chef Robin said, 20% amounts to about 6 days. Again, we want you here every day because why? It's counted by, attendance is counted by what? What did I say? The minutes. The minutes. So you're here because it will add up very fast. So like I said, if you need makeup, you talk to your chef first. He will talk to me. Very easy. Makeup, not necessarily, but it's very easy to do it.
Okay, cool. And finally, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. So I know I come in here, I'm like kind of hard ass and this, that, and this, and naming rules and things that'll get you dismissed. But the reality of it is I want you to be successful. I want to see every single one of you graduate. I want to see all of you get out into this world and do amazing things. But what you're going to find is you're going to, as you go through this program, you're going to think your chefs are nagging you or just ragging on you. We're really not, okay? We're really not. We're just trying to get you ready for what's coming, okay? We've all been where you're at, and we remember it fondly, okay? So let me just tell you. So we had a student, and I tell this to all of the incoming students so they understand and they can kind of make the connection. All right, we had a student, his name was Orlando Lima. We called him Will. He was a pretty good student. Like, you know, he made pretty good grades, but, you know, he had a few things that we were constantly on him about. Like, he was kind of messy in the kitchen. He looked kind of messy sometimes, like his pants, you know, kind of drug a little long, you know, like he didn't have them hemmed. And so they're all scraggly and his shoes clopped around. He shuffled, and, you know, a shuffling person, it drives the chef crazy because we want you to walk with purpose, and, like, you know, everything is in a hurry. So keep that in mind when you go out and you start working in the industry. Pick your feet up and move with purpose. But so Will, you know, we were always on him, and I swear he just thought that we were just ragging him. We were just trying to mess with him. And so anyways, he was a good student, and we all saw it in him. We saw greatness in him. And so we pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And he was one of our student ambassadors, you know, because he was really dedicated. Okay. And we saw that. And so he decided he wanted to go to work at Grace up in Chicago. And so Ann Derrick, who you met at orientation, helped facilitate that for him, because that's what we do. Like, if there's somewhere that you want to work, we can't go get you the job, but we can help facilitate it. Okay. So right now you're just now start trying to figure out what you'd like to do. The world is your oyster. You know, don't let your current house make you feel like that's the only place that you're going to be for the rest of your life. You know, start looking around, you know, if there's somewhere in San Francisco, somewhere up in, you know, Seattle, and anywhere, just keep your eye out, get on Instagram, look around and find some chefs that look like that they're doing the food that you love, you know, that you want to go find a mentor. All right. But that aside, Will had decided that Curtis Duffy at Grace was going to be his mentor. All right. And he had met Curtis. Curtis has a good relationship with the school. He'd actually come here to Austin, and he's a good guy. He's a really nice guy. And so we set it up for him to go up there and go work. And so, as I said, Will was not that he was a complete slob. He just never looked really sharp. And we were always on him about, hey man, button your jacket up, pull your pants up, quit shuffling. You know, when are you going to get your pants hemmed? Why are you working so filthy? You need to tighten it up. You're going to hear all these things from your instructors. Okay. And so he got up there on his first day. It was in the middle of winter. He didn't have anywhere to stay. So he was sleeping in his car until he could find a couch to land on. And so that alone shows dedication, right? To sleep in your car in a Chicago winter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that is not exactly Club Med. So he gets to the restaurant. He's about 5 minutes early. How many of you guys have heard so far that if you're 5 minutes early, you're late? Have you heard that from any chefs yet? You will, if you haven't already. So he shows up 5 minutes early for work. He walks in. They're like, who are you? And he said, I'm Will. I'm here to work. And they're like, you're late. And he goes, no, man, my shift doesn't start for another 5 minutes. And they're like, man, if you're not an hour early, you're late. Get on the dish pit. And so they put him on the dish pit, and then they ragged him about his clothes looking not so sharp and his shoes and all these things. And he when he came back to visit me, he said he could hear our voices echoing in his ears as all the things that they were saying. So he was on the dish pit for a while, right? Now it would have been really easy for him to go, screw this. I didn't come all the way to Chicago to wash dishes, but you know what? He didn't. He stuck in, he dug his heels in, he pushed, right? And so that was recognized. He started trying to dress better, you know, that kind of thing. And so the line cooks pitched in and bought him some shoes that fit him properly. And then they moved him to the prep station where he could work and like use his knife skills and stuff. And which he had pretty good knife skills, but like I said, he was kind of messy and he spread out a little bit. And so they started giving him a hard time about that. They're like, well, I guess we don't care today, huh? Well, that was the worst thing you could say to Will, because Will did care, right? It just tore him up. And so but once again, he's like, Chef Robin, I could hear y'all talking to me. He goes, it all came together once I got to Grace, that everything that you were telling me, you were just trying to give me a warning. And I was that's like music to my ears being told I'm right. Okay. So, but now he's doing fantastic things. He moved us all the way up. He is now chef de cuisine at Shannon. Yeah, Shannon put the link up for you guys if you want to check him out. And Will is a great guy. He comes back to visit every so often, and we drag him around to talk to y'all. But he's a real sweetheart, and he only graduated a few years ago, guys. This is not like decades ago. This is within the last 5 years. This guy's in his 20s and he's already opened a Michelin rated restaurant. Okay. So it's well within your realm of reality if you want that to be your reality. If you're just showing up and just coasting through, that's really not how it works. You know, if you're wanting to really challenge yourself, then you got to be here every day. You got to be a sponge. You got to try to find ways to integrate yourself. You've got to get out there and learn outside of school. That's how you succeed. Okay. The restaurants here locally are starting to slowly open back up. We're about 75% right now. We will eventually get back to normal. But since there is a little downtime right now, my suggestion to you is research what you want to do. Okay. Figure out what you want. This school is about you. It's not about anybody else. So I want, when you come to school and when you log into Zoom or whatever it might be, you leave the bullshit outside. Okay. And make this about you, right? This is about you improving who you are, improving where you're headed. Right. And I cannot, this is going to go by so fast. I cannot tell you how quickly it's going to go by and how quick you're going to blink and it's going to be done. Right now you're in your first class. So it just seems like you've got all this ahead. And there are going to be days where it feels like it takes 10 years to get through this program. I'm not going to lie, because it's hard. But when you're done, you're not going to believe how fast it went by. Okay. So don't let the time don't let the time catch up with you. Be here every day. Right. And like I said, you've got Shannon, Shelly, and I as a support network. Your first point of contact should always be your chef, because they usually have the answer. If Chef Cliff doesn't have the answer, he may tell, or whoever your chef is or your instructor is, they'll probably either point you to Shannon or me. My suggestion would be to go to Shannon first. He usually has all the resources that you need, or can get you exactly where you need to be. Okay. But does anybody have any questions? No? Y'all are awfully quiet. Chef Cliff, did I miss anything?
No, I think you hit everything. Yeah, I think you hit everything.
Yeah.
Was there any other questions that y'all had for Chef Robin or Shannon? All right.
All right. Well, y'all be good. And
Well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for letting me bust in on your class today, y'all.
Yeah, of course. Not a problem.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you, guys.
All right, so my class, y'all can, since we finished up today, y'all have a great day. Be safe. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And remember, tomorrow, there's going to be a different, I'm going to be driving to Houston today. So I'll see y'all, might be a little different background. But anyway, y'all have a great day. See y'all tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow, Chef.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Chef.
Bye, guys. I'll stay on unless there's a question. Questions?
Come on.
Okay. Hold on. Let me mute a few people real quick. 'Cause I'm having a lot of feedback. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I wanted to know if you had gotten my email that I sent you earlier today.
Was it well, hold on.
It was this morning.
I'm gonna have to look. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
About the job aid?
Yes.
Yeah. I just read it. Let's see. It was on the PowerPoint. The instructions were on the PowerPoint, but basically what I need is for you to show me or like describe like how to make a, let's say, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but have a picture. So a picture of a piece of bread, and then a picture of peanut butter, and then jelly, just showing you kind of step-by-step process without really words, or just with pictures of showing how to create or make something, like to make a bed or to start a car. You have to put the key in the ignition. You have to, so it's just a step-by-step procedure on how to do a certain job, whatever it is, to make a mixed drink or whatever else. It doesn't really matter. It's just something so you can show step by step without too many words. So where, let's say someone doesn't know English or doesn't know Spanish, a picture can show you how to build a project.
No, I got that as far as what a job aid is. I just didn't know where the criteria was listed. I remember seeing it in the PowerPoint, but I didn't know if there was like a little spot, like how the knowledge checks have a place where you go and check on them and everything.
Oh, no. This is just something that I said. It's not on the portal itself. This is a separate homework itself.
Oh, okay, because I didn't even see it on the syllabus either. So, and I don't want to mess.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just something that I just asked you to do.
Oh, okay. So when you have those type of things, you'll normally have like any extra assignments on the PowerPoint like you did the last time.
That is correct.
Okay, and then the rest, but the actual things that are graded, that is going to be on the on our 25% grade art knowledge checks and modules, right?
That is correct. In the job aid is going to be a check mark. Basically, you did it or you didn't. It's either you get a grade. It's a pass or fail kind of deal.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I usually plug that into the grade book.
Okay.
And you'll see it. I just have to create a spot that says job aid on the grade book, and you'll see it on there. But it is graded.
Okay,
but
I just want to make sure going forward that I knew, like, unless you say this is an extra assignment, that I'm doing everything correctly, like with the other stuff.
Yeah, and I will do my best to make sure I say, okay, this is an extra besides your assignments that are on the portal. So I'll make sure I say that when I do an extra assignment.
Okay. And one last question, just while
Yeah,
you're
of course.
Since we have talked about that, do you see all of my knowledge checks and everything that I am up to date?
I have. Yeah, you're up to date. It was just that
outside of the job aid.
I just opened up weeks 4 and 5 and 6 for the check your knowledge. So it should be open today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Chef.
All right. Hey, you have a great day. Be safe.
Yes, you too. And
See you
I'll
tomorrow.
get the job aid out to you today.
Yeah, of course. No problem. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
You too.
See y'all tomorrow. And I'll post the video in probably once I get to Houston. So in a couple hours, I'll post the video. All right. Y'all have a good day.